Hi, my name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast, and this is my Make It Monday for this week. Today I'm going to be playing with a stamp set and dies that I haven't done a lot with yet, but thankfully it was carried over into the new annual catalogue so I can keep playing. So it's called Garden Wishes, and that's the stamp set. And I've got the dies in here as well on a magnetic sheet. I just buy P plates or L plates from the $2 shop, and I cut them down to size and put them inside my stamp cases, and I keep my stamps and dies together. That's how I tend to do most of my dies. So I have done a couple of cards. This one is the shadow technique with this stamp set, and oops, it's flaring or whatever you want to call it. There we go. And that's a really nice technique to do. You just stamp it with the base black memento, and then you stamp it a little bit off center, like off that first image, with Versamark and white embossing powder, and heat emboss it, and then you just use the new blending brushes and sponge crumb cake around it. So that's sort of the shadow technique stamping. This one I cased straight from the January to June mini catalogue, and this one I also cased from the catalogue. So I often do that if I'm stuck for ideas. I look at the catalogue and I case it, or I get onto Pinterest and I have a look at what's on Pinterest. So they're the only cards I've made with this set. So I'm going to have a try at making another one. So just bear with me while I turn the phone around and we'll get started. Okay, so this is the new annual catalogue that came out 2 weeks ago, and this is where the Garden Wishes stamp set is in the catalogue, page 22. So it shows the stamp set, and it also says down here it coordinates with the Dandy Wishes dies. And this is the Dragonfly Garden. So those two sweet sort of stamp sets go together, really. They play off each other, and you can use the dragonflies, you know, on these ones, and use these images here on with the dragonflies. So it's really, those two sets are really good to have. This one coordinates with the dragonfly punch, and it's a double punch for the big dragonfly and a little one. So that's what we're doing today. So I'll put that aside. So I've got, so I'll just make sure I'm still in view, yes. I've got Early Espresso cardstock and 2 pieces of Whisper White. So I've got, the first piece is 10 by 14.4, and the next piece is what we're going to be stamping on and playing with, and that's 9.5 by 13.8. So I'll just put these 2 pieces away for the moment. Now I've got my retired 2 inches circle punch, and we're going to create a mask. As soon as I start doing this recording, I have to clear my throat multiple times. Oh, that didn't cut perfectly. This is a post-it note, so that's what I'm cutting through. So I might just try that again. So we had a cold weekend this weekend, a little bit cold, and snow down on the snowy mountains. Oh, it doesn't seem to like the post-it note, does it? I'll just have to get my paper snips and just sort of round that off. So put those ones in the bin. So I tend to hang on to some of my punches once they retire because they're quite handy. So I've used a post-it note purely and simply because it's got some sticky on it. So I'm just going to place it there. And I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. I actually saw this one on Pinterest by a Debbie Henderson over in America. And I was going to try and change the colours and everything, and I thought, you know what? Why bother when it's perfect the way it is? So I'm using our new blending brushes, which are just wonderful. And I'm just going to put this over the cardstock. So she used Flirty Flamingo. That's not a... I don't actually use the bold colours, the bold colour family a lot. They tend to be a bit too bold for me. But I'm trying to branch out and of my comfort zone and use them. But I do struggle. I'm more of the subtles and the neutrals. Whoops, and regals. They're sort of my colour schemes that I like. But I am trying to get bolder. So that's the Flirty Flamingo done, and I've sort of faded it down a little bit. So I'll pop that to one side. And then a soft sea foam. I did a folded card for my stamp club with soft sea foam. I might show that another day because I think I've left it downstairs. I took it to show my elderly mum in the nursing home this afternoon. So it's still downstairs. I didn't bring it back upstairs. Some of you might realise I do these on a Sunday evening and upload them ready for the Monday. But it's still a Makeup Monday. Sometimes I have to go to work on a Monday. Sometimes I'm just running around. I love these brushes. They're so good. See, Soft Sea Foam's in the Subtles range, and it's taking a little bit more blending. So we're getting there. Sometimes it just takes a bit of working. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So that's Soft Sea Foam. Now, what you will work out, I don't know where my little pick tool is. It's in there somewhere. Is when you take this off, it's made like a moon. So I want to play more with these dies, but I'm not going to do that today. This one. So let me find my block for that. No, it's too big. That's too narrow. So we'll go the E block. E block is a really good block. If you were buying blocks, if you don't have any and you wanted to buy blocks, this one, which is the D block, and this E block would be the two most versatile blocks to buy. Most things fit on this one or this one. So they would be the two I would suggest buying if you're wanting to buy some blocks. So now I've got Early Espresso ink pad here, and I'm just going to ink up my dandelion, I guess it is. And just make sure that's still in view. Oh yes, plenty. And I'm just going to put it over to one side a little bit of my moon and place it down. You could also use the Stamparatus. I tend to use the Stamparatus for the big background stamps because this is the biggest block. It needs a good clean. So it's block F, and I struggle to get my hand around it and press down and get an even pressure all over it. So that's the block you need for the background stamps. So that's why I use the Stamparatus mainly for background stamps. I'll just clean that off. That's just drying. I've got a new early espresso and it's a little bit wetter. I replaced it because my other one was so dried out, and even though I re-inked it often, it just never seemed to re-ink well. So I replaced it, and this one's lovely. Put that. Now this set's also got a little Bumblebee, so I'm going to get him and put him on our teeniest block. So this is block A, teeny tiny one. Now I'm just going to practice on my paper with the little Bumblebee because I do not want to get... Can you see how the ink's gone around the edge? So that's called a shadow. Sometimes if you rock, you'll get that shadow. And it seems to happen more on smaller stamps, I find. So if we just tap it very lightly... No, see, I've got it there. It's probably because it's so inky. You want to make sure you get enough on the B, but not anywhere else. So I want the B to be sitting on this. So I might have to bring my head in to stamp the Bumblebee. There we go. I've got him sitting, getting the nectar out. Oops. So I'll clean him off. And pop him away. So I'm not using any of the dies tonight. But I will be making more cards with these, so I want to do a few more things. So that's that. Now, I do find that when my paper trimmer blades are getting a little bit blunt... What's that? Let me see if I can get that off. Ah, no. But I do know what we'll be able to come. When my paper trimmer gets a bit blunt, I'll just see if I can show you. Can you see the scruffy edge there? So what I do is that just with my bone folder, I just do that and it pushes that down. But I will change my blades in my paper trimmer because that's telling me they're getting a bit blunt and hacked. Now, I can see that some of this early espresso is still a bit wet. See, just there? And I might do that again. Just because I don't want to do my hand over it. Okay. So I'm going to attach that to that white layer and see that will eventually go here. But seal. So just a touch. So this is just stamping and blending with the brushes. It's really not that hard and it's quite enjoyable. Put that to to one side. Now I want to put a bit of something around it, and I want to put a greeting here. Made with love for a true friend, that's really nice, but I think it's a bit big. I think wishing you all the best would be better. And it can be for a get well card, or it can be for a birthday card. Now let's see. Which is that going to be too big for that stamp? Sometimes I don't like it when they retire my punches. But we'll see. So I will get the early espresso again. While that's drying, I'm going to put some, I do need to find my, here it is, my old pick tool. I'm going to put some of these on, the gilded gems. I really like them. And I'm going to put one right here because it's going to cover up a bit of a smudgy thing. And one up here. One there. That's probably enough. Okay, and this is the everyday label punch, which did get carried over. So I'm just going to make sure I've got the greeting straight. Now, I could cut there and there to make it smaller. Which I think I will. Will I use my trimmer? That is the question. Or will I just wing it? If it doesn't work, I'll just punch it again and use it full size. I need to cut it down a little bit more. It worked exactly the way I wanted it. Oh, and see, the ink's smudged. You know what? Let's just not even worry about that. Trim away. That's not going to fit. Find another piece. A scrap here. This is playing before. I wonder if I should stamp it off first. Maybe that's a good idea. Won't be as wet. And I'm not going to bother about cutting the punch down. I'll do something else with it. Now, something else I want to do is what? I want to put a bit of linen thread. This is the last of my old linen thread. Okay, linen thread now comes like this on a roll, which is better because you don't get these creases in it. A bit of that. And I want to just wrap it around the back, so I'm just going to, let's see where I want to put it. And this is where I use double-sided tape because it secures it down. And then I can just wrap it. Might go 3 times. a bit of texture. And here I'm going to if it doesn't, oh, see, look at that, it's blessed. Actually, I might do the pink because it worked better, didn't it? Just over here. Maybe not all of it, just on that side of it. And we'll try it one more time and not get it blurry. I'm going to stamp it off. And stamp it there. There we go. And dimensionals. Where are they? Here they are. So there's always two sides to every piece of cardstock. That's what I tell the ladies that come to my classes. And so we'll put that there, but I'm going to let it dry off a bit more. So I got this, as I said, I got this idea off Pinterest off Debbie Henderson in America. It caught my eye because I liked the shadow, the masking for the moon, and then just the spotlighting. So I just thought, I can't improve on the card, so I'll just case it, give her the credit, and show you guys. So there's nothing wrong with casing. Casing's fine if you can't come up with your own inspiration. I do it often. So, and we'll just put this here. Make sure it's straight. There we go. And I might get a couple more gems. A couple of the smaller ones. Where should I put them? I always go with 3 or 5. So I might put one over here and one down here. There we go. So I'll clean that. So yes, this is, oops, that's my Makeup Monday for today. I hope you enjoyed that. So this is a really nice bundle. It's $89 for the stamp set and the dies, which keeps falling off. Oh, that's because that's one it's blocking it. Get a lot of dies in there, and some of them are standalone dies. Some cut out the images, like this one. If I can get it up. So it cuts that image out. This one cuts this image out. Like that. And these are standalone, so they're really interesting. That cuts the bee out. Yeah, so I haven't played with the dies, so I want to do that. So stay watching. Not now, not tonight. But yeah, keep watching and you'll see me play some more with this stamp set and die bundle. So this is our card tonight, or today. And we did some masking and used our blending brushes. And yeah, I think it's lovely. I love the bee on the dandelion or the daisy. So thanks for watching. Bye.